Hello and welcome. Tonight, Senate launches investigation into all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the nation's refineries since 2010 to monitor ongoing improvement of the refineries. House of Representatives summons the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, over the decision to lift forex ban on 43 items. And bandits attack mosque in Ga'ala Baba community in Benengwari local government area of Kaduna State, killing the chief imam and 2 other worshippers.
On business news tonight, Federation Account Allocation Committee shares a total sum of 903.48 billion naira to the 3 tiers of government as Federation allocation for the month of September.
On sports news tonight, former winners Bayern Munich and Inter Milan record vital victories in early evening kickoff in the UEFA Champions League group stage action.
And from Abuja, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council releases its report of the top-performing ministries, departments, agencies on timely, cost-effective and customer-friendly services.
And in international news from London, one of 2 hostages freed by Hamas on Monday says, "I went through hell that I could not have known."
We begin from the National Assembly, where the huge expenditure on the nation's refineries over the years without value for money is now a source of concern to the Senate. The lawmakers have therefore resolved to mandate their Committee on Downstream Petroleum to investigate all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the nation's refineries since 2010. They also plan to ascertain progress on the ongoing works in all the refineries to forestall waste and corruption. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Mizuke reports.
The petroleum industry is in focus in the Senate during the first plenary session of the week. Specifically, the lawmakers are raising questions on the monies spent on the turnaround maintenance of the nation's refineries. This was the subject for debate, sponsored by Senator Sunday Steve, representing Kogi West, who revealed that over 11 trillion naira have been expended on maintenance.
The number of GMBs have come and gone. They always tell us by next month, by next quarter, by end of this year, the refineries will work. This unit, other leadership will be doing justice to the Nigerian people by causing the forces behind it, NNPC, whoever they are, to account for how much exactly they have paid out and why their promises have not been kept. If we can use our power to summon, to investigate, and at the base of the findings, to encourage the executive to take the appropriate action.
How do you come up with operating costs on companies or projects that are moribund? That will be cause for questioning.
After an extensive debate on the matter, the Senate adopts the resolution.
Ascertain progress on the ongoing works in all refineries in order to forestall waste and corruption, and interrogate the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the NUPRC, NNPCL, BPE on the best approach to commercializing and or ensuring profitability of the state-owned refineries. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amen.
The Senate also debated on the dredging of the River Benue and Nigeria's protracted plan to construct a dam.
From Anambra, the whole of Anambra, that area, that is Demili axis and all the local governments in that place are completely submerged once there's major flooding.
The next prayer, I call on the National Emergency Management Authority, NEMA, to, in consultation with the state governments, listed, urgently carry out comprehensive assessments of communities affected by flooding with a view to providing them with relief materials. Those in favor of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
In a matter of urgent public importance, Senator Abba Moro, representing Benue South, raises a motion on the recent robbery attack in Otukpo, which claimed the lives of 4 security operatives. A minute's silence is thereby observed.
May their souls rest in perfect peace.
The Senate resolved that security agencies probe the circumstances leading to the October 20 attack, demanding answers to the lack of intelligence and alertness by the police on the day of the said attack. From the Senate, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has summoned the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, over the decision to lift Forex ban on 43 items. The items were restricted in 2015 from access to foreign exchange. The lawmakers passed the resolution to summon the Central Bank Governor following the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance by Honorable Sada Soli, calling for clarification on the policy and its implications on the economy. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
2 weeks after the Central Bank of Nigeria released a policy lifting restrictions on 43 items prohibited in 2015 from accessing foreign exchange from the official window, the House of Representatives is raising questions surrounding its impact on the economy. Honorable Sada Soli, in a motion of urgent national importance, draws the attention of the House to the fact that some of the initially prohibited items have tariffs to protect local industries.
Aware that almost all the 43 items are from 2 critical sectors which have been identified by all policy documents, needs, seats to Vision 2022 as being areas that are critical to economic diversification. Concerned that the decision of the CBN will greatly affect local production of items such as rice, cement, and palm oil, among others, as it will force local manufacturers to hold the short end of the stick, invariably leading to factory closure and ultimately eroding our capacity to build the country's local economy.
Further worried that Nigeria will not be competitive in the African continental free trade area if its markets are flooded with imported finished goods, the House resolves that its relevant committees should invite the Central Bank Governor for further explanation. Meanwhile, another matter that caught the attention of the lower chamber is the 20th October robbery incident in Otukpo, Benue State, involving 4 banks and a police station. Honorable Blessing Onu wants the House to carry out an independent investigation.
Concerned that residents are currently feeling traumatized by last Friday's incident and are greatly feeling unsafe, worried that the security architecture of Otukpo community, particularly the police and vigilante, are badly demoralized. More worrisome, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, is that the commercial and business activities are currently halted in Otukpo and Benue South as a whole.
This incident that happened on Friday has happened repeatedly in Ankpa local government last year, last 2 years, and sometimes again early this year.
The House mandated security committees to carry out an investigation and observes a moment of silence in respect to the lives lost during the attack.
May their soul rest in peace.
Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Away from the National Assembly, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, says the committee is working to reduce the over 200 official and unofficial taxes collected from Nigerians across the federating units to below 10. He said this after the committee submitted a report to the president on quick reforms that could be implemented within 30 days. Our State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, has more.
The president arrives for the meeting with the chairman and members of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. The committee, which was inaugurated on the 8th of August, was set up to address some of the fiscal challenges confronting the country with an emphasis on fiscal governance, tax reforms, and growth facilitation. After the meeting, the committee informed State House correspondents that they had submitted a report on some quick wins to the president and will now focus on critical fiscal reforms.
multiplicity of taxes. We have over 60 taxes and levies officially collectible by federal government, state government, and local government. Unofficially, those taxes are over 200, making life difficult for our people. So the objective we have, and that's what we're working towards, is to bring all of that to a single digit. So the taxes at all levels of government combined, we think should be less than 10.
The implementation of some of these recommendations will require some legislative inputs and constitutional amendment.
So we're speaking to traders, Matan, and they said to us, people selling pure water in the market collect, they call it tickets, 7 tickets every single day. Why should someone who is just trying to, hawk pure water to keep body and soul together have to pay 7 taxes on a daily basis? It doesn't make a lot of sense to us. So now we are at that phase of rewriting our laws.
The special advisor to the president on media also informed journalists of the president's directive upon receiving the report.
The president directed the special advisor to the president on policy coordination to liaise with the secretary to the government of the Federation and the chairman of the Tax Policy Review Committee to ensure that the recommendations of the committee are swiftly and immediately implemented across all ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government.
He emphasized the president's clear position that care must be taken to protect the most vulnerable segments of society. According to the special advisor, the president has also directed that the recommendations of this committee should be made a top priority for consideration at the next Federal Executive Council meeting. From the State House, Landry Lasese for Channels Television News.
Let's turn our attention to politics and in Kogi State, where the former president of Senate, Senator Bukola Saraki, is appealing to the residents of the state to forgive the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mr. Dino Melaye, for any past grievances. Senator Saraki made the plea at the Okene Township Stadium in Kogi State during the flag-off of the party's governorship campaign in Kogi State.
It's the official flag-off of the governorship campaign of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in Kogi State. The governorship candidate is excitedly received by the party supporters. On the podium, party leaders make a case for the election of Mr. Dino Melaye as the next governor of Kogi State.
As our slogan is called Imole. Imole means light. I have brought light to Kogi, and when light comes, darkness vanishes. Kogi will see a new dawn. Come November 11, I want you all, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. This is democracy. Nobody's going to hurt you. Everybody should go and vote and stay with your vote. So I want to appeal to all our elders in PDP. Some are here, some are not here. Whatever Dino might have done for you, for the love of people of Kogi, let us forgive Dino and let us go and vote and support Dino.
The candidate then receives the party's flag from the acting national chairman. Having received the party's mandate, Senator Melaye unveils his plans for Kogi State.
I am going to be a governor with the fear of God. If you have the fear of God, you will not pay percentage salary. If you have the fear of God, you will not kill. If you have the fear of God, you will not steal. If you have the fear of God, you will not be happy when you are driving on bad roads. We are going to make sure that we bring in a new order in Kogi State. I urge you all to come out 11/11/2023 to vote Senator Dino Melaye. And by the special grace of God, we will not disappoint you.
The candidate urged his supporters to mobilize support in all the local government areas in the state for the victory of the PDP in the November elections.
In part two, after the break, the African Democratic Congress promises to improve the health and welfare of the people of Kogi State as its governorship candidate takes his campaign to Olamaboro and Ankpa local government areas. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Senate launches investigation into all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the nation's refineries since 2010 to monitor ongoing improvements of the refineries. House of Representatives summons Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, over a decision to lift forex ban on 43 items. Bandits attack mosque in Ga'ala Baba community in Beningwari local government area of Kaduna State, killing the chief imam and 2 other worshippers. And one of 2 hostages freed by Hamas on Monday, narrator Dale, says she went through hell she could not have known. In another part of Kogi State, where the African Democratic Congress is pledging its commitment to improving the health and welfare of the people if its governorship candidate, Mr. Leke Abejide, is voted into office. Mr. Abejide made this pledge while campaigning in Olamaboro and Ankpa local government areas of the state.
The governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress leads party supporters to Ankpa local government area of the Kogi State for another leg of campaign ahead of the governorship election. Members of the campaign trail urged the people to vote for the party because of the candidate's plan for the state.
It's our time, our local. Let's come out for Leke and Obide to change, wache. Leke, wache. Obide, wache.
Today, are nominated flying the ticket of ADC. Your choice is the best that can happen to our state at this material time. You have choice people who have the experience, who have the competence, and who have the skill.
The candidate is pledging to ensure political inclusion in his administration.
And in this land, you are going to have a chairman of a local government. In this land, you are going to have a member of House of Representatives. In this land, you already have one anyway. In future, you will also have. You are going to have a commissioner. Many of you youth here will work with me in the government.
The campaign trail also made a stop in Olamaboro local government area where the Director General of the Campaign Council extols the virtues of the party's candidate.
Why are these Babacan candidates? They are candidates of a real type that you cannot get in other political parties. And the candidate will talk to you people. He will tell you what he's been able to achieve in a short time. But I'll tell you that what stands out for him as against other candidates is that he is very, very humane.
The rescue mission message of the African Democratic Congress campaign trail continues to resonate as the team combs every part of the state in search for votes.
Time to head to Abuja for more stories. Nelta Egbe, it's over to you.
Thank you, Millicent, and welcome to our Abuja studios. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, has released its recent report of the top-performing ministries, departments, agencies, and MDAs in the country. The report, which spans the first half of the year, had the agencies ranked on the basis of efficiency compliance, which assesses their ability to provide timely, cost-effective, and customer-friendly services.
The PBEC 2023 Executive Order Compliance Report assesses the level of implementation of the various executive orders issued by the federal government to facilitate ease of doing business in Nigeria.
That we're going to deliver efficiency and transparency.
The report includes an evaluation of both federal agencies and state governments in their adherence to the directives outlined in the executive orders.
Public servants, this is our promise to Nigerian businesses that we're going to deliver efficiency and transparency of public service delivery. And as we do this, we facilitate Mr. President's 8-point agenda by supporting the existing investors, because it is the businesses that are currently operating in Nigeria that are the best testimonial for attracting foreign direct investment. It is the businesses operating in Nigeria that will deliver more productivity, even as we wait for more infrastructure and for better FX rates and all those other things.
She further stresses the need for checks in the ministries, departments, and agencies as part of efforts to ensure complete compliance to the executive order, facilitate easy access to public records, and to combat corruption in the country.
That as long as there's a team, there's an agency that continues to work on ease of doing business. We work with 54 MDAs granularly, monthly, on particular steps. And so as long as there's a team that is responsible for working on business climate reforms, the business climate reform will continue to improve in this country. The only thing that MDAs need is the political will and the support for consequence management, which is what you were speaking to. Those who do well are commended. They get PEBEC awards. Those who do not do well, they also get very stern admonishments about what needs to be done better.
The Council believes that the findings in the report is an assessment tool and source for the agencies to use to measure their performance and also to deliver the much-needed improvement in transparency and efficiency of public service.
On security matters, bandits earlier today attacked a mosque at the Gal Ala Baba village near Savonlai in Burning Gwari local government area of Kaduna State, killing the chief imam of the mosque and 2 other worshippers. Police spokesperson in Kaduna State, ASP Mansir Hassan, told Channels Television that the bandits attacked the village from the Kamuku forest, which links Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, and Niger State. A community leader, Zubair Abdul Rauf, told Channels Television that the incident happened when the Muslims were observing their morning prayers today. He added that 2 other worshippers who sustained life-threatening injuries were rushed to the Jibrin Maigwari General Hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, 2 more people were killed and 3 others injured later today, also in Burning Gwari. Among those killed are a vigilante member and 1 IDP from Dagara community. The attack happened at the Maghreb prayers at the KBY filling station at Bagoma Dam. And in health matters, non-communicable diseases are on the rise globally. Among them are cardiovascular diseases, which, as the leading cause of death, take as many as 17.9 million lives a year. Statistics in Nigeria are murky, no thanks to insufficient data, but experts say the figures are on the rise. On its 2nd anniversary, Duchess Hospital in Lagos, Nigeria, in partnership with Save a Heart Foundation from the United Kingdom, is taking down those numbers with subsidized open-heart surgery.
In this conference, members of Duchess Hospital and Save a Heart Foundation are announcing greatly subsidized open-heart surgeries, even though many have already been performed. The candidates were selected after a bit of sleuthing.
Dr. or Professor Bode Falashe and I, many months ago, hatched a plot to create what we called a public service waiting list initiative. And that really is what is at the heart of all of this. The principle of that was that we decided that it would be reasonable for us to consider a plan that would bring individuals in the public sector who have been waiting for life-saving heart surgery, some for months, years in some cases, into the private sector, so they can benefit from the wonderful facilities that we have here.
The idea is to make sure needed heart surgeries can be performed after the Save a Heart Foundation team goes back to base in the UK.
We've identified individuals who have capacity and capability, and one of them is their very own Professor Falashe. He was among those that we brought first to Ireland to train, and he yielded fruit because he came back and it's one of the 3 units in the public hospital that's able to do continuous, sustainable cardiac surgery in Nigeria.
Open heart surgery is a procedure used to treat heart diseases caused by congenital factors, inappropriate diets, and high blood pressure, among other things. Some beneficiaries of open heart surgery testify of an improved quality of life.
I want to say thank you for a second chance because I know this is a new phase for me. I'm active and my engine has just been repumped, revamped.
They also confirmed they received top-notch service at 1/3 of what it would cost in a private hospital setting and less than some public hospitals. The chairman of Reddington Group of Hospitals, Dr. Adeyemi Onobowale, is delighted that capacity has been transferred to local talent.
The fact that the heavy lifting in these surgeries were done by Nigerians that are local. And we have to thank you for this transfer of knowledge and skill. This is what we need in Nigeria today. If we take one thing home, please spread the word. There is cardiac surgery in Nigeria and it is affordable.
The initial intent was to perform 10 procedures, but so far, more than twice that number have gone successfully under the knife, and the surgeries continue. Duchess plans to continue harnessing the power of collaborations with public hospitals and non-profit organizations like Save a Heart Foundation to bring world-class care to people at an affordable price. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Still to come on the news at 10, a Federation Accounts Allocation Committee shares over 900 billion naira revenue to the federal, state and local government for September. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. Now to legal matters. The Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court has sentenced the medical director of Optimal Cancer Care Foundation, Dr. Olufemi Olale, to life imprisonment for defiling his wife's niece when the minor was between 15 and 16 years old. Justice Rahman Oshodi held that the prosecution, the Lagos State government, proved the charge against the defendant, stating that the evidence against him was compelling. Dr. Olale was arraigned on November the 30th, 2022 on a 2-count charge of defilement and sexual assault by penetration of a minor between December 2019 and July 2022 when she came to live with their family. That's it from our Abuja studios. It's back to you, Millicent.
Thanks, Nelta. In other stories, the Odua Investment Foundation, the charitable arm of Odua Investment Company Limited, has launched the Digital Education for Innovation and Economic Development project. According to the chairman of the foundation's advisory council, the flagship initiative seeks to take digital education to the 137 local government areas in the southwest. Our correspondent Kelly Agiga reports.
It's a gathering of top government representatives, elder statesmen, traditional rulers, Odua Foundation's top advisory council and board members, as well as students from the 6 southwest states.
Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen.
The chairman, Board of Trustees, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, and chairman of the advisory council, Ambassador Olatukumbo Dusomu, outlined the foundation's vision and need for strategic partnerships.
Thank you for putting our together.
Today, we are taking a significant step in achieving the mandate of the foundation with the formal launch of what has been christened the Defined Project. Along with the Defined Project is the introduction of Bytebusters coding clubs in all our primary and secondary schools across the Southwest. This, we believe, will be another significant digital step towards a smart, globally competitive youth population.
We need funding and support, such as government grants, private sector's partnerships, international diaspora support. We'd like to leverage public-private partnerships to secure sustainable funding for the initiative and are ready to partner with international organizations. universities, businesses to provide Yoruba youths with exposure to global digital opportunities.
The project director and representatives of the Southwest governors also take turns to commend the initiative.
In an increasing high-tech world, gaps in digital literacy can exacerbate existing disparities in our society. So I'm pleased to hear that this intervention is targeting public school students.
I want to give a good kudos to Odua Group. I mean, we're beginning to feel that states really have investments. When you talk to the board and management of Odua Group.
We need not wait on the federal government to develop competencies and offer state-of-the-art digital education for our children, arming them with wings to fly and horse with them into this new height of prosperity and inclusive growth.
And the students are not left out as they take the center stage, making presentations of their discovery.
This shows how accurate our app is.
It's a defining opportunity for the region as the grand launch of the defined project also births the Byte Busters Coding Clubs, a path-breaking digital education intervention targeted at public schools across the Southwest region. Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
To some company news now. Industry regulators and players in the energy sector are converging on Lagos for the 17th edition of the Oil Trading and Logistics Expo, the OTL Africa Downstream Energy Week 2023. Now, various speakers at the event are of the opinion that the prevailing circumstances in the oil and gas industry present an opportunity for players and regulators to forge a common front towards harnessing and growing the potential of the sector.
Thank you. Please be warmly seated as we say hello to somebody sitting behind you this morning.
Amidst the uncertainties and opportunities in the oil and gas industry, regulators and players are gathered for the 17th edition of the Oil Trading and Logistics Expo, OTL Africa Downstream Energy Week 2023. The theme of the event, Energy, Synergy and New Beginnings, aptly describes the targets. Set an agenda that would impact the industry.
This gathering gives us the opportunity to gain new insights, forge new partnerships, showcase brands, products and services, and align operations to suit emerging industry dynamics.
In his keynote address, the Authority Chief Executive of Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, draws attention to the country's drive towards energy transition, amongst other industry-related matters.
This transition must align with emerging market realities, global geopolitics, technological advancements, and sustainability requirements.
What do you think really is the importance of investor confidence, particularly from the point of view of price certainty?
Panelists take turns to share experiences and ideas that would help shape and give policy direction to the industry.
If the regulator really sits and do what they need to do to make businesses, to make it to be the real enabler of the business, then we're there to succeed.
You know that we have so much problem in our hand at the free fall of FX that needs to be addressed, which is really a big challenge to the industry.
We'll go from the outer to the inner.
With the exhibition session ongoing, the Executive Vice Chairman OTL Africa highlights some of the gains the event presents.
The essence of this event ultimately is to ensure that the market is adept at what the best approaches should be, that there's understanding on who is where, and that the government is able to take a pulse of the industry and set the right tone from a policy perspective.
Discussions are done and notes are taken. The organizers would expect stakeholders to synergize and keep oiling the industry's wheels of progress.
Leading innovative and sustainable building solutions company Lafarge Africa plc has launched the first electric vehicle trucks for zero carbon emission and effective service delivery. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer Lafarge Africa, Lulu Alade Akinyemi, explains that this is part of the 2025-2027 Strategic Development Plan of the company for sustainable environment. He was speaking at a ceremony held at the company's office in Ewekoro local government area of Ogun State.
The launch of the first electric vehicle truck in Nigeria by Lafarge plc marks a significant and strategic move in its sustainable environment to ensure zero carbon emission from production and logistics value chain and its acceleration towards green mobility. So it's not out of place as management, staff, development partners, government agencies gather here to be part of the success story with the unveiling of the first set of electric vehicle trucks in Nigeria.
The introduction of these EV trucks signifies a monumental shift towards cleaner, more efficient and sustainable supply chain. Beyond the evident benefits of the environment, this strategic move holds great promise to all stakeholders involved.
As part of its accelerated green mobility strategy, Lafarge Africa has been actively pursuing the deployment of cutting-edge technologies that enhance proficiency, customer experience, and most importantly, significantly reduce the carbon footprints within its supply chain.
If you look at what we have done over the last 7 to 8 years, we have always consistently been decarbonizing our logistics transportation by the injection of CNG trucks, by multimodal transport, using of rail, waterways, and ensuring that we are basically alternating our fuel mix in our operation.
Some of the strategic partners at the event commend the Cement and Sustainable Building Solutions Company for its foresight and bold initiative expected to ensure green mobility.
This electric vehicle has zero CO2 emission. When I say zero, it's zero emission. There is no emission of CO2 with this truck.
We in the Corps are very happy with them because they will help us do our work better, especially in the area of excessive emission, which we are fighting tooth and nail to combat.
The Chief Executive Officer of Lafarge Africa then cut the tape to launch the trucks. These electric vehicle trucks have an impressive range, capable of traveling up to 200 kilometers on a single charge and promoting zero carbon emission into the atmosphere.
Time for business news now. Here's Anne Waldo.
Thank you, Millicent. Hello and welcome to Business News. A total sum of 903.48 billion naira, that's the amount shared by the three tiers of government by the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, in the monthly revenue for the Joint Federation Account for the month of September. And highlights of the latest disbursement shows the federal government received 320.54 billion naira, state government got 287.07 billion naira, while the local government councils received 210.9 billion naira. At the same time, a total sum of 84.9 billion naira was shared to the relevant states as 13% of mineral derivation revenue. Meanwhile, the FAC says the balance in the excess crude account stands at $473.7 million, which is almost unchanged from the figure for the month of August. The Nigeria FinTech Week 2023 opens in Lagos, bringing together more than 10,000 financial and fintech stakeholders and leaders from over 80 countries. Celebrated as Africa's premier fintech gathering, this year's edition of the annual event with a theme, Fintech, Resilience, Innovation and Diversification, create a dynamic avenue where traditional financial institutions, innovative fintech startups, government representatives and global investors converge to shape the future of finance in one of Africa's most vibrant tech hubs. Let's head to the domestic market. It ended Tuesday's trading session with a rebound from yesterday's negative close. The industrial goods, as well as the oil and gas index, all remained flat for a second session this week. Eni John Mekwa has the details.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, we said it, a positive market breadth on Monday, a positive close on Tuesday. The all-share index gained 0.51%. And yes, we have moved to 67,000 right there, 67,217.77. Market cap, well, still on 36 trillion, but it's gone from 700 right here to 900, getting close to 37 trillion naira. The market mover for today, Geregu, still building on that positive revenue increase that it announced last week. And so we see it moving 726 million around the market at the close of today, moving the market to the green territory. And that green also spread to the counters. Banking sustaining the positive moves. Remember earlier today, we had talked about banking may be a good place to look at. So it's up 1.44%. Oil and gas unchanged, but green, you know, what's been happening on there. And consumer goods also closing in the green. So it's the first green for the week. Hopefully we have more greens, and it's the bull.
That's Business News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. The rest of the news at 10 continues now with Millicent.
Thanks, Anne. To Around the World in 5. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres says he's deeply concerned about the clear violations of international humanitarian law in Gaza. He condemns in strong terms the use of civilians as human shields and the bombing of southern Gaza after an evacuation order. Here's Sam Pusi with other international stories.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. One of 2 hostages freed by Hamas on Monday says, "I went through hell that I could not have known." Yocheved Lifshitz, speaking to the media with her daughter from a hospital in Tel Aviv, described how she was kidnapped by Hamas gunmen on motorbikes. The 85-year-old and her fellow captives were hit with sticks and taken into a spider's web of underground tunnels. Lifshitz and Nurit Cooper were released last night, but their husbands are still being held with more than 200 other hostages that remain in Gaza.
My mom is saying that she was taken on the back of a motorbike with her body, with her legs on one side and her head on another side, that she was taken through the plowed fields with a man in front on one side and a man behind her, and that while she was being taken, she was hit by sticks by Shabab people.
Meanwhile, the UN's agency looking after Palestinian refugees has warned of a potential end to its aid work in the Gaza Strip. Those in charge of humanitarian aid say if they don't receive fuel urgently, they'll be forced to halt operations in Gaza.
So far, fuel has not been allowed into the Strip. Fuel is extremely urgent because without fuel, the trucks themselves cannot move. Without fuel, the generators cannot produce electricity for hospitals, for bakeries, and for the water desalination plants.
Poland's mainstream opposition parties say they are ready to take power as they seek to increase pressure on the president to make a quick decision on appointing their candidate Donald Tusk as Prime Minister. The pro-European Union opposition parties won a majority in elections earlier this month, a huge shift for Poland after 8 years of feuding with Brussels over issues ranging from judicial independence to human rights. PIS came first in the general election but lost its majority. It is unlikely to be able to form a government for want of a coalition partner. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country will keep up military pressure on Russian-occupied Crimea.
Друзі, перш за все я хочу
In a video address to a security conference in Prague, Zelensky said the illusion of Russia's domination of Crimea and the Black Sea had been shattered. Kyiv has ramped up strikes on Russian forces in the Black Sea and Crimea, which was seized and annexed by Moscow in 2014 as Ukrainian forces press on with a nearly 5-month-old counteroffensive. A superfog in Louisiana has led to a pileup of 158 cars just west of New Orleans that killed 7 people and injured at least 25. Dozens of cars burst into flames while other vehicles were wedged under each other in the 158-vehicle crash. Others were crumpled and charred on the bridge over Lake Mariapas. The accident closed Interstate 55 in St. John the Baptist Parish for hours. Local media labelled the conditions a superfog, which the National Weather Service describes as a mixture of smoke and moisture released from damp, smouldering organic material, during which visibility is lowered to less than 10 feet. Teams from around the world are racing their solar-powered electric cars across Australia in the 2023 Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. The event runs until next Sunday, with teams vying to complete the trek in the fastest time. The 3,000-kilometre route is one of the world's most prestigious solar car races, created to foster development of experimental solar-powered vehicles. And Mexico City's streets have come alive as hundreds of skeletons paraded on the capital's main boulevard as part of Day of the Dead festivities. Mexicans painted and got dressed up as the iconic Mexican skeleton La Catrina for pre-Day of the Dead celebrations. The parade is one of the city's many events for Day of the Dead, a pre-Hispanic tradition in which families remember their dead and celebrate the continuity of life. The November the 2nd Dia de Muertos, or Day of the Dead in English, interweaves Spanish influences with indigenous ancestor worship in Latin America. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. The Confederation of African Football has rescheduled the return match of Wydad Athletic Club of Morocco and Enyimba in the African Football League. The return leg match was originally to hold on Wednesday in Casablanca, but has now been moved to the next day. The two-time African champions had planned to fly to Morocco on Monday, but they could not obtain the necessary landing rights until today. Enyimba lost the first leg by a lone goal at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in New York. In form, France-based goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, defender Oluwatosin Demain, midfielder Rasheedat Ajibade and forward Asisat Oshoala were among 19 Super Falcons players who participated in the team's final training session ahead of tomorrow's 2024 Olympic qualifier against the Lucy of Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. Wednesday's encounter at the Abebe Bikila Stadium will kick off at 1:30 p.m. Nigeria time. The return leg has been scheduled for the MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, on Tuesday, October the 31st. Hurricanes scored and assisted to help former champions Bayern Munich claim a 3-1 victory at Galatasaray in the Champions League. Inter Milan squeezed past Salzburg 2-1 at a packed San Siro. Andre Onana and Harry Maguire were the unlikely heroes as Manchester United kick-started their campaign by beating FC Copenhagen 1-0 on the night Bobby Charlton was remembered at Old Trafford. Gabriel Jesus stole the show as his superb goal and assist fired Arsenal to a 2-1 win at Sevilla. Real Madrid and Napoli also picked wins on this night.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Senate today launched an investigation into all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the nation's refineries since 2010, just as the lawmakers vowed to monitor ongoing rehabilitation of the refineries. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Have a good night and stay safe.